Hello and welcome to Mr. Adam Syson's incredible transformation journey breakdown. So I want to introduce you to Adam. Adam is my longest standing client. We actually went to secondary school together, so we had a very similar upbringing. But ultimately, we have managed to completely change his life around. And that's exactly what I want to break down for you right now on how we actually got him from this to this and losing almost 40 kilograms of body fat. So let's get straight into it, because if you do follow us on social media, you know when I like to get talking, I can go on and on and on about this stuff because it's honestly my absolute passion. So before Adam reached out, he was lacking, let's make myself a little bit bigger, structure. So he didn't have a plan to follow to get him out of this rut that he was in. He was lacking discipline. So I like to use discipline as like working your discipline muscle, doing things when you don't necessarily want to do them. That was pretty much non-existent. And he was lacking accountability. There was no one checking in on him to make sure he was doing what he needed to do to get him where he wanted to be. In terms of his nutrition, which we're going to go into a little bit more detail on the next slide, but he was in a cycle of comfort eating, relying on takeaways and alcohol on a weekly basis, and felt shame about his appearance. So all of this bundled up had him battling insecurities, low self-esteem, and ultimately depression and anxiety. He would go through episodes of just being very, very, very pessimistic about the future and in a position where he was not enjoying life. This is what I like to say, is like he was surviving, he wasn't thriving. Pardon the pun, we all call thrive coaching. But a lifelong poor relationship with food throughout his childhood. Again, I can go into this a bit more detail, but we can relate heavily with this. It's like not being able to leave the table until your portion's finished, even if you're full, and then you wouldn't be allowed to have dessert, etc. Like, although parents do mean a lot of good, this kind of indirectly damages our relationship with food. But nonetheless, this would lead him to emotional eating. So if he was stressed from his high pressure job, he would eat. If he was having maybe a little bit of an argument with your partner, which every relationship has, he would turn to food or alcohol. But always just opting for quick, unhealthy options, which were convenient. And when you start just to opt for convenience with your nutrition, food these days is in that much of an abundance of super tasty calories that it's very easy to fuck up. Therefore, Adam felt out of control. He was in a position where he needed to change. Therefore, as we moved forward and just give him a little bit of a needs analysis, so me understanding like where he is, what he's doing, and what we need to like implement to move him forward, he actually really enjoyed training. So when it came to his exercise habits, yes, he understood the benefits of resistance training and getting his heart rate up, but ultimately his insecurities and lack of structure of what he was actually meant to be doing when he was training and no clear plan kept him from fully committing to a fitness journey and stepping into a gym. So with that, instead of me saying, oh, well, you're going to get the best results from the gym because they have a super variety of machines and equipment, and they, do you know what I mean, are going to have a lot more than you can get from kind of training at home. We set him up perfectly with what he needed to move him from where he was to get him to just get that ball rolling. Now, nutrition meant basically depending on sugary snacks, takeaways, and stimulants. As you can see here, if I make my fat head a little bit smaller, him enjoying a coffee just to get him through the day, and ultimately just looking for sugar hits without prioritizing some real solid nutrition. And as you can see here, these are his words, not mine. I was feeling insecure, ashamed, snappy, unwell, and I suffered with depression and anxiety. And overall, just hated the way I looked and felt. I felt as though I'd really just hit the fuck it button and spiraled out of control. So what we needed to do with where Adam was at was establish a routine to build better habits around his high pressure sales job. Because not only did Adam have a full-time job, he had a partner, he had a house, he had pets, do you know what I mean? All these things all require time, attention, and energy to manage and navigate. So of course, like I don't coach athletes, I don't coach, I don't know, just like, do you know what I mean? I don't coach people who are sportsmen and have nothing else to do apart from eat, train, and sleep to get bigger, stronger, and faster. We have to take into account all the other responsibilities he had going on in his life. So as we move forward, we met him where he was with the Habit Hacker system. So as you can see here, this is basically our Thrive coaching app where we just plug everything in one place. A lot of coaching programs and PTs, etc. have Google Sheets, Google Docs, and there's just things here, there, and everywhere. Where we just like to keep things nice and simple and plug everything in on one app. So the first thing we done was just be like, right, Adam, what do you want to achieve here? What is the goal? And of course, with where we were starting, he wanted initially to lose a few pounds and start feeling better within himself. But he wanted to do that this time round because he had tried in the past boot camps, like extreme exercise programs. He tried literally everything under the sun. Him and his dad is now a client on the Thrive coaching program and using the Habit Hacker system. They both were just desperate for change, but always found themselves utilizing fads and gimmicks and short-term fixes and just ending up back at square one. That literally, like, every client that comes to me has had that same approach in the past. But this time round, he wanted to build habits, such as focusing on his steps and activity levels, his training, his workouts, and his diet and nutrition for a long-term approach and change. Because when we can actually build habits and we couple that with the knowledge that you need to understand of what you're doing and why you're doing it and how that plugs into your routine, this is how we can have a sustainable lifestyle change where you can keep your results forever and break free from that perpetual cycle, feedback loop to hell, where you lose the weight and put it back on and more. You lose the weight and put it back on and more. In my opinion, that is the definition of absolute just hell. It really, really is. So we met him where he was using the Habit Hacker system, which is basically just giving him immediate structure with personalized targets. So nutrition targets, workouts with what exercise to do, sets and rep targets. So we knew how much to push on certain exercises, etc. And a bespoke training nutrition plan on that Thrive coaching app, which you've just seen on here, to remove the stress and guesswork for him. Because again, all the information that you need is on the internet. But to figure out and go through what is fact from fiction and what's actually going to be relevant to you and where you are in your journey, that would take hundreds of hours to filter through it all and be like, okay, this is relevant to me. This is what I need to do now. So instead of him having to do that because he had a busy job, a partner, kids, just doesn't have kids, he's got pets, I was about to say. But instead of him having to do that, he was like, Adam, please just set me up with all the things that I need and the relevant strategies that I need to implement to move me forward and remove that stress and guesswork. So once we'd done that, and we started with that initial plan, we then moved forward into just making sure he was getting the most out of that plan. So with his workouts, for example, one, he would send me videos of the exercise that I prescribed for him within the training program in the app, where he could track his sets, reps, and weights and adhere to something called progressive overload. So basically, the core principle of any training program on planet Earth defies off this principle. So the stimulus, i.e. how many sets, reps, weights, etc. you do, must become harder over time for your body to adapt and change and grow. If it doesn't become harder over time, if the workouts don't change, your body doesn't change. So again, we give him somewhere he could track his performances, see what he'd done the week before, and know with clarity how to beat himself to ensure he was adhering to that principle. But aside from that, to make sure he was getting the best stimulus on the muscles that we were training, he would send me a couple of videos, and as you can see, this is him at very, very start of his journey. These are some of the initial photos, videos that he sent over. Was I would get these through WhatsApp, and then I would give him voice note feedback on how to improve his form, posture, and technique for his biomechanics and his form and what he's actually doing to accelerate his results. So he was getting the most out of every hour, minute, and second that he was spending training. And like I said before, with the insecurities and without a clear structure, he wanted to train from home. So the transformation that you're going to see in the next few slides, Adam has not stepped in a gym the whole time we've been working together. And he's managed to achieve this transformation from the convenience of his own living room. So again, it just puts into perspective, if you've got a plan, which is proven to work, you've got the knowledge and you've got an understanding, you've got someone coaching you and giving you accountability, then this is what's possible from literally never stepping foot into a gym. So from here, we set him up and just met him where he was using the system, and then ultimately made adjustments as we went. So what we've done at the start of every single week, and we've done this for the past 140 weeks or something it's been now, is set him up with a 7-day roadmap every single Monday. So on a Sunday, I'll just send him a link to fill in a short questionnaire to tell me how his weeks went. And I'll use that information to create him 3 action points. So 3 things that he needs to do over the next 7 days to get him another week closer towards his goals. Whilst we've done that, I set him up on the Monday. I then just touch pointed with him, or if he asked any questions off the back of it, of course I would reply within about 24 hours, max. I'm always on my phone, so it's normally a lot sooner than that. But just checked in little and often to make sure that the behaviours we were working on them long enough until they became habits. Because this is the beauty about habit formation. We have to work on the behaviour until it starts to work back for you. Until we solidify what are called these neural pathways, which basically solidify, and then these habits become automatic. You do them on autopilot. The best example I can give you is when you learn to drive, for example. When you do your first few lessons with your driving instructor, you've got to concentrate really hard on doing the pedals and the gears and steering and the indicators and checking your mirrors. And then once you've done that for, I don't know, however long it takes you personally to build that habit. For me, it was quite quick. My physical literacy is quite good, I like to think anyways. And I picked up driving quite well. It helped that I had a kind of like a kind of motorbike before I drove whilst I was 16, which how my parents let me do that, I'll never know. I don't know how I'm still in one piece now. But nonetheless, is when you have done that for a little while, you then can do that on autopilot. You jump in the car, you do the gears, you do the indicators, you do everything, and you can almost think about other things whilst you're doing it. Just a really good example. So until those behaviours were turned into habits, that's where the accountability really shone through for Adam. Because as I said at the start, without someone checking in on him to see and make sure he was doing what he needed to do, it would just be like, okay, maybe it's a week or 2, maybe it's 3 weeks at a push, he'll be back to his old behaviours and back into that rut. So what separated this and this habit hacker system from what he tried in the past? Well, let us give you what he said in his own words. The mobile app, which again, the Thrive Coaching app I showed you before, is definitely a standout for me. This app allows you to track and keep on top of everything from weight, sleep, nutrition, workouts, progress photos, the whole shebang all in one place, which is hugely convenient. The weekly progress check-ins are a game changer, and they allow you to be held accountable and reflect on what went well and what needs to be worked on. Adam is always, meaning me, we both have the same name, which is a little bit confusing, but Adam, as in me, is always armed with compliments, constructive criticism, and strategies to navigate every single week, and always shows up in a timely manner, full of energy, and a smile on his face without fail. The community is also a huge part of it, and it's a great way to talk to other like-minded people who are wanting to better themselves in one way or another, from sharing wins, struggles, meal ideas, gym playlists, and just general chit-chat. It really makes you feel like you're a part of a team and that you're not facing this alone, which I know a transformation journey when it comes to your health and fitness can feel very lonely, especially if the people around you, like your immediate family, friends, partner, etc., aren't fully on board in the beginning because you've tried it multiple times before and failed. And they just think, oh, you're just going to try this new diet again and you're probably going to fail, because that was been the pattern for however many years. But as his body weight dropped, these check-ins and these touch points allowed us to adjust the plan as we move forward. Because of course, as his body weight dropped, it means, it's called, as I say, I don't want to go into the science of it, but it's called adaptive thermogenesis, which just means as you get lighter, your body weight, the calories that you were consuming, which were your deficit calories, then need to be dropped for you to still be in a deficit. So we just made sure that we kept the protein high to ensure every pound, or the majority of the pounds that he was losing, was body fat and not muscle tissue. So if I was to set him up with the plan that I did, and I was like, look, all we're going to do is go into an aggressive deficit. I'm going to give you loads of steps. I'm going to give you 5, 6, 7 training sessions per week. We can ensure that if we didn't set things up meticulously within like how much protein it was having, volume taken care of in the gym, not give him too many steps so that he wasn't hitting them and falling short and feeling disheartened, we made sure that we set him up with the strategies to keep all his muscle tissue, which just meant resistance training and hitting an adequate amount of protein per day. Therefore, this is what we managed to achieve. And this is honestly one of my biggest achievements in life. It really, really is. So, firstly, we managed to lose 84 pounds of body fat. Yes, there would have been a little bit of muscle tissue that went with it, but nonetheless, this is how he has one of those holy transformations. Not only have we managed to physically basically just kind of strip him of a whole pretty much human being. I'm not sure if you've tried to walk around the gym with a 20 kilo dumbbell in either hand and just try and do that for like 10 to 20 steps. Like, this is the difference that you can kind of put into perspective of how much we've transformed his life. But not only physically, he's improved his strength and his fitness. So now he doesn't get out of breath walking up the stairs. His strength is absolutely incredible considering how much weight he's lost. Eliminated knee pain. Adam came to me and he had knee crepiditis. I don't want to be taken by a professional on the pronunciation of that, but his knee pain was really, really bad when he started, which is now completely gone, and he's got much, much better mental health. Visible muscle definition. Like, as I say, we can see his abs, we can see his obliques, bicep veins, his quads. Like, I don't want to kind of blow my own trumpet, but a lot of transformations you'll see online, the upper half looks really, really good. But if you look at their quads, their hamstrings and their calves, they're like an upside down triangle. Need I say more? But more optimism for the future. So he now attacks life with confidence and can't wait for the day ahead, the week ahead, the month ahead, instead of just surviving every day, just to wake up and just get through the day. Kind of, as I say, getting out of bed was an achievement. He's happier, healthier, and more confident. He has literally left the job that he had when we first started working together to pursue his passion and his dream. So Adam won't mind us telling you this, but he was an area sales manager. He had a very well paid job, very high pressure job, don't get us wrong, a lot of stress that came with it, and it wasn't fulfilling him. Yes, it paid the bills. Yes, he had holidays and he could buy the clothes that he wanted. He's got a nice car, but it wasn't fulfilling him. And through this journey, and I know he'll be like, yes, Adam, this is the exact reason why, through this journey of improving his relationship with food, exercise, himself, losing the body fat, improving his confidence, understanding how this works long term in terms of the science behind the brain and the body, etc., has allowed him to have that confidence and self-esteem to follow his dream and passion. So now he's now embarking on being a business owner. As you can see, he loves tattoos. He's going to become a tattoo artist. And as I say, for me, that is absolutely incredible. It really, really is. And as I said before, with the education, and we are very, very heavy on education here, because without the education and the learning part, it just has you going round and round in circles in that perpetual loop to hell that I was talking about a little bit earlier. Plus the habits. Of course, I brand myself as an online habits coach because, yes, we look at training and nutrition, which I've delved into within here, which are the biggest dominoes to elicit the results. We also look at things like sleep management, stress management, supplements, hydration. We have that holistic approach to your habits. Because if you are sleep deprived and you are very, very, very stressed, your adherence to your training and nutrition protocols are going to be very poor. And of course, if you want a better quality of life, health, and just overall feel amazing, like, we have to look at those other lifestyle habits to make a lifestyle change. Nonetheless, absolutely incredible transformation, and I could not be more proud. Therefore, if you have any questions, let's move my head, any questions on, as I say, anything else, maybe which I have mentioned, which you would like me to go into a little bit more detail, please don't hesitate to drop me a message. Instagram is normally the best place to reach me, or even just pop a comment in the link below. Drop a comment in the comments below. And then, as I say, I'm more than happy to get back to you and just chat over where you are, where you want to be, and how and if I can help and give you some free resources, which I'm more than happy to give away to help you on your journey. If you want to jump on a call to see if we're going to be a good fit and you want to get amongst the habit hacker system, as I say, it'll depend on availability because I do not work with many clients just because of how personal, thorough, and how detailed I am with my coaching. Then, as I say, I'm more than happy to see if you will be a good fit for the team. But aside from that, I wish you the best of luck on your transformation journey. And yeah, as I say, if you don't mind, go and drop Adam some love over on Instagram. I've always got his transformation on my page within the first kind of 20 posts regardless. But as I say, any questions, you know where I am and you know what to do.